Shalom. Israel is deeply divided. There are large protests taking place in Tel Aviv. Why is this happening? What's going on? What's the government's response to these protests? And what's next for the war? We'll talk about this in a moment. Shalom, shalom. Welcome, Tzvi. Welcome, Matt. It's great to have you guys with me today. Matt, please tell us, why are so many people in Israel protesting right now? What's happening?
So the protests are being ignited by families of hostages that are demanding a ceasefire and a return of their loved ones. As military operations in Gaza, they're raising fears over the fate of the roughly 50 hostages, 20 of them still believed to be alive. What's the frustrating part is that the process is real slow. They're seeing it as insufficient progress towards a hostage deal. And a military campaign could bring harm to those hostages, are the fears that are igniting these protests.
Okay. Now, I see a lot of people in the streets, especially in Tel Aviv. Do you know how big were the recent protests in Israel?
So about 500,000 people are in the streets of Tel Aviv protesting right now. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. All right. And then I understand that Bibi has a plan. Tzvi, maybe we can go into the details. Would you elaborate a little bit more on what Bibi's proposal is for this? For all these things that are taking place right now in Israel.
So these protests come in the context of an expansion of operations that Netanyahu was seeking to convince the cabinet to approve, to take over Gaza City and pretty much control over the whole strip, right? So there have always been, anti-war movements and people on the left criticizing Israel's military actions. Now we can see that it's a lot more than just the fringes that are out there protesting. We're talking about nearly 500,000 people in Tel Aviv, but 1 million nationwide, accompanied by general strikes in different sectors. So, pretty considerable for Netanyahu, who remains steadfast on his decision, to free the hostages through extreme control of the Gaza Strip, right? And you can be in favor, you can be against, but what you cannot argue against is that he is a leader. He has the characteristics and the charisma of a true leader that doesn't flinch if he's being called a genocidal maniac. He's being condemned by entire nations. He's being condemned by the International Court of Justice. Yeah, and this is by no means to defend Netanyahu. Yeah, I am not ashamed to say that I don't like him. I'm not in favor of him way before this military operation. But he is a good leader. Yeah. And then putting the things in context as far as military operation goes, we have to remember that for thousands of years, the decisions have been made by the victors, the ones that overcome in power, yet to the other side. And this is exactly what has happened with Israel against Hamas. Yeah, Hamas would love to negotiate now. As a matter of fact, I think I had an article that said that Hamas agreed to a ceasefire proposal, but Netanyahu now doesn't really care about that. So, um, at the same time, he has the opposition of a large sector of the population. He says that he believes that these protests are actually distancing the release of the hostages. Yeah, the opposite effect than the people that are manifesting want to have. Yeah, so they fear for their families, their loved ones, and they would like to see a peaceful resolution, and not Israel, unwittingly killing their own.
Right, right. I was going to say that. I mean, this is a very delicate situation for Netanyahu and the people of Israel, of course. Now, Matt, do you know how many hostages are still being held by Hamas, and how many of them
Matt,
are still alive?
yes. So it's believed that 50 are still being held, with 20 of them still believed to be alive.
Okay. All right. Like I said before, this is super delicate for Netanyahu, but we have to understand that we are caught in a very complicated scenario here. I mean, on one hand, you have Netanyahu. He wants to go all the way into Gaza, take control, but you all, on the other hand, you have the families, and you have the even the military families concerned about their children and their sons and daughters being killed, right? For as part of the casualties, right, that are taking place in the middle of war. And it's I understand that you also had some proposals from Netanyahu, right? He's got a plan for all this. What are his demands? Let's put it on this that way.
So let's bring it back to the context of the war, yeah, and victory in the war. Yeah, that Netanyahu doesn't have proposals; he has demands, right? So
Demands would be the right word. Yes.
yeah, so that has pretty much stayed the same from the beginning of the war. We were sharing in one of the last segments that Israel had a little bit of their hands tied up during the Biden administration. That is something that went through a dramatic change with Trump, right? So that's why we see this escalation from the Israeli side. And so here we're going to see Bibi during a press conference, what he is demanding, and it's pretty much the same from the beginning. And in that sense, I appreciate the consistency. Yeah, so I let you listen to this.
Occupy Gaza. Our goal is to free Gaza, free it from Hamas terrorists. The war can end tomorrow if Gaza, or rather if Hamas, lays down its arms and releases all the remaining hostages.
All right. So he says that the war could end, just upon the release of the hostages.
Five
This is
principles
not
that define the
negotiation.
war. One,
Right? So there is no negotiation. And here there are 5 principles that he wants to abide by. And one is the disarmament of Hamas. All hostages must be freed. Gaza demilitarized. Israeli overriding security control, and a non-Israeli peaceful civil administration. All right. So he's saying he doesn't want Israel to have the headache of governing over Gaza, and I would agree with that part. He would like to see an entity outside of Israel. It could be the UN, it could potentially be Egypt or another Middle Eastern country that recognizes Israel. From the perspective of Hamas, obviously these demands don't sound reasonable at all. Because imagine, Hamas having the demand, okay, so the government of Israel should be dismantled, right? Israel would never agree to such. So,
Right.
but these nevertheless are the demands that have been consistent by Israel.
Now the Matt. I'm sorry. Continue, Tzvi. You were gonna.
No. Go ahead, please.
That would be okay. Good. Thank you so much, Tzvi. Matt, what are world leaders saying about the conflict and Israel's decision at this time?
Well, a lot of them are very much against what Israel is doing. A lot of them do bring. So the UN-backed mediators do support the ceasefire proposal. UK is expediting medical aid. Norway has taken economic steps, and human rights groups are critical of the conditions in Gaza. The conditions in Gaza has been the big thing that has brought a lot of the countries against Israel. But they do lean towards de-escalation and more humanitarian relief, and urge Israel towards a compromise in the situation.
Okay. All right.
Regarding this whole wars.
Now, when it comes to the president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, what is his position in regards to this right now? Is he still supporting Netanyahu, or what do you know about this?
So I do know that he's very much in support of Netanyahu. I do at the same time know that Donald Trump wants an end to this war as well. So he's at times he has pushed Israel to proceed with a ceasefire plan. I know that he's done that at times. He also is very adamant that Hamas must basically cease to exist. He's also taken that position at the same time. So,
all right then. Well, we like to encourage all of our audience to let us know, to share your opinion on the comments section. And it's it before we go.
Just wanted to add something, Harold. That is,
Sure.
I meant to say this in the beginning. What is important to highlight as well is that I think that both the people that are in support of Israel as well as the ones that are against the modern state of Israel do portray Israel as a monolith. Yeah, that all Israel is whatever the government of Israel is saying. Yeah, or the official Anti-Defamation League, or Jewish people that control some media are saying this is Israel's position. And things like the protests and the strike that we just saw this week show you that there are a lot of diverse opinions in Israel, because I can tell you, having lived there for nearly a decade, that even the people that go out to protest, they don't agree with each other in most of the things. I mean, it is already said, 2 Jews, 3 opinions, right? So if you have like 500,000 Jews, I can assure you that there are at least a handful of different opinions. Some may agree with this, some may not agree with that, some may be more lefty, others may be, more middle of the road. But all of them are there because they are in this anti-war movement, or at least whatever Netanyahu's decisions are currently. So that is important for people, before they jump into the comments. Hopefully they got to this late in the video that they can see this disclaimer and go from there to be a little more fair in their assessment.
Absolutely. Thank you for clarifying that for us as well, Tzvi. Like I was saying before, before we end this segment, we always like to thank our new supporters. Tzvi, maybe you like to go ahead and express our gratitude by showing the list right there, and maybe
Yeah, and it has been growing exponentially. So we really appreciate the support of everyone. Some of the last ones were Daryl, Harry, Daniel, Onduismo, Lisa, Craytona West, Ruth, Isaac, Abia, Javier, and a lot others. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. There is a lot of exclusive content that one of the tiers will have available, and there is already available in the members section. So thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tzvi, and thank you, Matt, always for your great insights about what's going on in Israel. We'll see you next time. Blessings and shalom to you all.